Now let's look at part 3 of today's lesson, fronting objects and helping verbs. Object fronting means that the direct object of the clause comes before the subject and main verb. The simplest example of object fronting is information questions with what, which, or how many. Okay? For example, I chose Call of the Wild for my book report. Call of the Wild is the object, which we change to what in the question, and then move it to the front. What did you choose for your book report? This is object fronting. A movie ticket costs over $10 in New York City. Okay, the object over $10 changes to how much. How much moves to the front. How much does a movie ticket cost in New York City? Object fronting is also common with noun and adjective clauses. The object is also the connecting word, which is why it has to move to the front. Let's look first at object-adjective clauses. The relative pronoun, the who, which, or that, replaces the object of the original main clause. Then the relative pronoun is moved to the front of the clause. And finally, the adjective clause is connected to the noun it describes. It looks like this. The sweater was made in Iceland. My wife gave me the sweater for my birthday. The sweater is the object. So we change the object sweater to that, and then move it all to the front. That my wife gave me. And now the new sentence is, the sweater that my wife gave me for my birthday was made in Iceland. Now, recognizing an object-adjective clause can be difficult because the object relative pronoun is often not written. For example, the wedding dress the princess wore. The object that the princess wore is reduced out. It's not necessary, so you can eliminate it. So be careful of this. Object fronting is also common with noun clauses. Just like adjective clauses, the relative pronoun, who, which, or what, replaces the direct object of the main clause. Then the pronoun is moved to the front of the clause. And finally, the noun clause is connected to the verb or preposition. For example, I will study something next semester. Something becomes what. I will study what next semester. What is moved to the front of the clause. Then it's connected to the main clause. I'm still trying to decide what I will study next semester. One common mistake with object fronting is adding an unnecessary object pronoun like it after the main verb. This includes noun clauses that are reduced to infinitive phrases. For example, the book that I am reading it. No. I can't decide what I'm going to wear it to the party. Nope. I can't decide what to wear it to the party. No, because in all of these cases, the object, that or what, is at the beginning of the clause or the phrase. Continuing with noun clauses, the pronouns which and how, like how much or how many, replace words modifying a noun object, like adjectives. Because the direct object is connected to these connecting words, the noun is also pulled to the front with these connecting words. So, for example, we should order 3 pizzas. 3 becomes how many, but it's connected to pizzas. So when how moves to the front, it brings many and pizzas with it. So how many pizzas we should order. So now the new sentence, we need to decide how many pizzas we should order. So not just a connecting word, but everything connected to the connecting word moves to the front. A common mistake with which and how much, how many, is only moving the connecting word and leaving the object after the main verb. So our teacher told us which we should bring our books to class tomorrow. No, our teacher told us which books we should bring. We will need to decide how many we're going to order pizzas. No. We need to decide how many to order pizzas. Again, no. How many pizzas to order. All right, now fronting helping verbs. In standard sentence structure, helping verbs come after the subject, between the subject and the main verb. Like we should go, they have finished, Kai doesn't need, everyone could join. However, in questions, helping verbs come before the subject. This is an example of fronting a helping verb. Should we go? Have they finished? Does Kai need? Could everyone join? Helping verbs are also fronted in 2 other common situations. 1, when clauses begin with certain adverbs like only. Only with extensive study and practice will your skill improve beyond basic. Also in conditional statements without if. Had I known about the concert, I would have gone with you. This comes from the original, if I had known about the concert. Both of these situations are very formal and more common in literature than in academic professional English. So let's talk a little more specifically about fronting helping verbs, starting with beginning with adverbs like only. This includes others like rarely and a few others that we'll see on this page. When only comes at the beginning of a sentence connected to another adverb, prepositional phrase, or adverb clause, the main clause begins with a fronted helping verb. For example, the game couldn't begin until then. We move the idea of until then to the beginning, but it becomes only. So only then could the game begin. The helping verb goes at the beginning of the clause, like a question, but not a question. Shaquille O'Neal is not only an NBA legend, he also has a doctorate. Now this first clause is the main clause, so not only is Shaquille O'Neal an NBA legend, he also has a doctorate. The planet will be saved only when everyone makes serious changes. Or, only when everyone makes serious changes will the planet be saved. It's the main clause, the second clause, that needs the helping verb first. Very often there is a shift in negation when one of these adverbs is moved from the end of the sentence to the beginning. That means the negative word, like not, changes. For example, any more, when it's moved to the front, becomes no more, and no becomes the negative word. So, we won't accept second-class status anymore. No more will we accept second-class status. Again, the negation moves to the front, so not disappears from the helping verb. Finally, let's talk about conditional statements without if. A conditional statement is a statement usually with the conjunction if or others like unless and as long as. You can write an unreal condition without if, but to do so, you must front the helping verb or the be verb if it's the main verb. Unreal conditionals are statements that cannot happen because they are impossible. For example, if I were 10 years younger, I would probably get my PhD. I can take away if, but were moves to the front. Were I 10 years younger, I would probably get my PhD. If I had known you were in town, I would have invited you to dinner. I take away if, but had moves to the front. Had I known you were in town, I would have invited you to dinner. For real conditionals, you can drop the if, but you need to add the helping verb should. Like, if the room gets too hot, there's a fan in the closet. Should the room get too hot, there's a fan in the closet. Same thing, but much more formal. Or, feel free to call the front desk if you need anything. Feel free to call the front desk should you need anything. And that is more than enough for this lesson on unusual word order. Do some practice, and hopefully I'll see you in another lesson soon. Aloha.